Hey, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar, How to Optimize Your Website for Maximum Conversion. And on today's webinar, what we're going to be looking at is how to get your website to perform at a higher level so that you get maximum conversions, maximum lead flow out of your website. My name's Carl Willis. I'm the founder and chief strategist for Remodeling Marketing Team, and we're glad that you're with us today. So let's go ahead and get going into our presentation. It's going to be about a 45-minute presentation, a little time for questions at the end, and hopefully you'll be ready to take some notes here. So what we're going to be dealing with is what we call the digital dominance method. And this is one of the things that we implement with our clients. This is something that we feel like every home remodeling company, residential contractor needs to build into their marketing ecosystem. And so the digital dominance method, you can see it's numerically ordered. We numerically order those in terms of what we believe is most important to generate maximum revenue growth, maximum lead flow, maximum conversion. So those are going to be things like your search engine optimization, which anymore is not just ranking on Google, because even ranking on Google has many facets to it. There is mobile optimization, voice search optimization, local maps optimization, plus traditional organic optimization. Plus, on your Google business profile, there are other optimizations that need to occur as well. So we're not just optimizing a website or anymore. We're also doing that with your business profile as well. Second thing is, of course, pay-per-click, your search ads. That's going to be Google AdWords or the Microsoft Ad Network, which is Bing, Yahoo, Verizon Mobile, that platform. Retargeting, which is critical. Your average customer is going to take 7 to 12 different visits to your properties before they make a buying decision. So we want to stay with them through that process. That's what retargeting is all about. And then you have your online paid directories, of course. There is your repeat business, your referral business, which of course comes from the way you treat your customers. And then there's pay-per-lead, which a lot of home remodeling companies, residential construction companies are using. This could include Google local service ads. This could also include things like Angie's and House and Porch, those types of platforms. Your social media, advertising and marketing, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, of course, highly visual world we live in. People are on their mobile devices, so we need to keep them engaged. And then finally, your referral program. So this is the digital dominance method, the ecosystem that we like to operate in. Today, we're going to deal, though, with the epicenter of your digital dominance system right here, your website. What's on the midpoint of that system. And so a couple of housekeeping things. I'm going to ask you just to turn off your cell phones, turn off Facebook. If you are really wanting to double or triple your leads that you pull specifically from your website, then this next little bit of time is going to be really critical for you. Now, a little bit about myself, why you should listen to me. My name is Carl Willis. I have been marketing online since 1997. I started selling bases on eBay when we were still using 36.6 dial-up. So been doing this a long time. I'm the author of Internet Marketing for Home Remodeling Companies. If you haven't gotten that book yet, you can send me a request and I'll be sure and send that out to you. Creator of the Marketing Classroom, international keynote speaker on internet marketing and lead generation topics, widely accepted as a go-to expert in the world of internet marketing, especially for home service companies, and have worked with companies across the U.S. and across the world on their marketing strategies. But enough about me. Let's talk about you and your business. These are a few of our satisfied home remodeling and residential construction business owners, Integrity, Wichita Homeworks, Complete Concrete Solutions. And now we want to get into your world, what the problem is. The problem is we all spend a lot of money on marketing, and we want to make sure that that marketing is effective. And because we're making that big investment into marketing, we need to make sure that we're getting a good return on our investment, that anytime we put $1 out, we are getting multiple dollars back in return. And so it's important that we maximize our profitability. Okay, I just saw somebody's not able to see the screen. So let's move that over there. Lori, tell me if that helps. Perfect. All right. So here's the problem that a lot of our clients run into when they come to us. They've been spending money, they've been getting a lot of traffic, but they're not getting the lead flow that they want to get out of those advertising and marketing expenditures. And so we want to make sure that we are creating sufficient lead flow when we are making those monetary investments into our marketing. And what happens is there is now a low return on investment. Those leads are getting more and more expensive. The other issue that often we get is if you're buying leads, you're getting leads that have been resold. They're not exclusive to you. And so they are a lower quality lead, meaning that they convert at a lower level, producing a lower return on the total investment. And so the last thing we want is idle crews and an empty schedule. And that's where a lot of our contractors find themselves. They're spending all this money on marketing, and yet they don't have enough jobs to keep their crews busy, to keep their schedule full. And so those are the things we want to tackle when we deal with this issue of website conversion. It's not just the data of is your website converting, it's the reality of are your crews working and is that schedule staying completely full? And so if you're not generating enough leads or you're not getting the lead flow that you need to grow, what that becomes is a marketing failure. And so we don't want to be compounding those failures. We don't want to create those failures. And so what we have to do is we have to start in that epicenter and create a great site that is built to convert. And this is one of the things that often we run into with web design. People will focus on making a beautiful website, but not focus on the purpose of that website, which is to convert visitors into prospects so those prospects can be converted into actual customers. And so we're going to talk through some conversion steps that you can implement on your website to make it more conversion friendly, to make it perform better so that your lead flow increases dramatically. And of course, what we want to do is we want to consistently convert our website visitors into callers and into leads. And so at the top of the funnel, you're going to have people coming to you through your advertising, through your search engine optimization, through your social media content. If you're blogging, you're going to have people coming through that. If you're doing video content, many ways to drive that traffic to the top of the funnel. What we've got to do is convert more of that traffic as it comes through the funnel so that more of those viewers are becoming qualified leads, prospects, and customers for you. Now, what happens is when we get that dialed in, you've got crews that are working and you've got a full schedule of appointments. And so that's the ultimate measure of success in what we're trying to accomplish here today. And when you have that, then you've got momentum and you can build consistent growth in your business. And that's what we want to see. Every year, your revenues are growing, your profitability is growing, and there's a momentum. It's not starting and stopping and starting and stopping, but it stays very consistent. And so success looks like this. Your phones are ringing, trucks are running, crews are out doing work, and business is booming. And your website, again, is going to be the central hub of everything. And let me explain a concept here on this graphic when we talk about your ecosystem. Everything should feed into your website, and then your website should feed back into your other points of connection. So people come into your website, we want to get them connected to you also on your social media, your LinkedIn, your Twitter, your Facebook, your YouTube, your Instagram, any other place that you might be. We want to drive people from the website to those properties and from those properties back into the website. What we're creating is a stickiness factor. The more places we can connect with that prospect, the more likely they are to do business with you, because now they know, like, and trust you. And so what we're doing is building an awareness of who you are, an awareness of your expertise, and we're giving them the opportunity to grab hold of more of your information and bring it into their universe as part of that buying decision. Now, here's why conversion is so important. So let's get down to the nuts and bolts. And I'm going to give you two scenarios, two websites, almost identical metrics, but there's a couple of things that are going to be a little different. And this will give you an idea of why this is so critical. In scenario number one, the website is getting 1,500 visitors per month, converts at a 5% conversion rate. And that means 75 calls or leads are coming in every month. If the sales team is able to convert at 30%, meaning of those 75 leads, if they talk to all 75, 30% of those are going to become your customers. That's going to lead to 22 booked jobs. Now, we're just going with some low numbers here to make this easy. Obviously, in your business, probably going to be a little higher profit point, but the average transaction is going to be $450 in this example. That's going to net a revenue of $10,125. Now, if we take scenario number two, same metrics, except we're going to change the conversion rate. $1,500 visitors a month, 15% conversion rate. Now we've gone to 225 calls or leads per month instead of 75. At 30% conversion rate, that is now 67 book jobs. We've now tripled the amount of work that your business is able to do. And again, we're using a small number here because it's easy to work with. If it's an average $450 transaction, now we've taken the revenue to $30,150. So we've tripled the leads, we've tripled the revenue simply by increasing the conversion rate a mere 10%. Something that I always tell my clients is if you're able to do things 10% better than your competition, you generally are going to do multiples better in the production over your competition. So it's those little increments, that extra 5, 10, 15% that are going to make all the difference in the world to your lead flow and to your revenue flow. And what I'd like you to do is, in your notes, just plug in what your average ticket price is, and you'll be able to run this same math. If you're able to raise that conversion level 5 or 10%, what difference does that make in your overall numbers? Now, here's what I want you to really notice. This is without increasing your ad spend. So you're not paying for any more advertising. You're not implementing a new advertising avenue. All you're doing is you're taking the current amount of traffic you get, but you're converting it better than you were before. And that's the real key to this conversation today. Now, can this really have impact? And this is a case study, some SEO numbers. This is a client that we're doing SEO work for. They had 1,598 leads coming in via their search engine optimization. So they're not doing any paid advertising. They're just doing organic search. Their total investment is what they pay us to do services, $24.90 a month. And that's put their cost per lead at $1.56 per lead, simply because the website converts strongly. Now, if you take a look at that, that's 1,457 organic searches to the website, 429 organic phone calls from the website, 32 form submissions, and 1,137 calls from the Google Business Profile. It used to be called Google Maps. So this conversion structure can really bring down your cost per lead. If you're buying leads, sometimes those leads can go upwards of $60, $70 a lead just for that phone call. So we bring the cost per acquisition way down, profitability goes way up. Now, why is getting your website built to convert so critical for you? Well, again, it's maximizing your revenue. It's maximizing the amount of work that you're able to do. It maximizes your overall profitability. And so there is a workbook that goes along with this webinar, and you can download that, remodelingmarketingteam.com/convert workbook. So the main key takeaway slides that I'm going to have in here are in that workbook. It's also a place you can make some extra notes. Now, here's the 12 critical elements to enhance conversion. I'm going to go through the list, and then we're actually going to look at a couple of examples to kind of talk through how to implement this in your own website. First of all, you want to speak to your target avatar. What are their fears? What are their frustrations? Why should they choose you? And Avatar isn't just a movie. It is the description in marketing of who is the profile of the person, A, most likely to do business with you, but B, also most likely to spend the most money with you. Who are they? What do they care about? What are their interests? What are they doing? What are things that matter to them? Second thing is you want to be real. Use authentic images of your team on your homepage and throughout your website, because again, people do business with those that they know, like, and trust. If we're getting ready to ask them to spend 25, 50, 75, 100,000 or more, they're going to want to know us, like us, and trust us before they make that decision. And these are things we used to do offline. We used to, get to know people and build that rapport. Well, we now have to do all of those things online. And so there are some things you can do to the site that are going to help expedite that process. The third thing is to use video and multimedia elements to engage different modalities. And what I mean by that is, remember, everybody today is using one of these. And depending on how they're wired, some people would prefer to get their information by video. Others would prefer to read. Others would prefer to get their information audibly. And so we want to meet the modality. Do your customers prefer to be in a social environment? Do they prefer to be in an informational environment? Who are they specifically? So you may want a website welcome video on your website. There's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, it allows your prospect to get to know you. But the other piece of that is it keeps them on the page longer. And that is a ranking factor for the search engines. The longer you can keep that person on the page, on the site, the better performing your website's going to do organically. Second thing is videos for each of your services. Do you have videos of the different services that you offer? If you're doing kitchen and bath remodeling, do you have videos of some of those projects? If you're doing outdoor work, do you have videos of that? Whatever it is that you're doing, do you have videos to show your customer what your end result looks like and even your process? And then a video explaining why somebody should contact you and not your competition. At the end of the day, we all have to figure out our unique selling proposition. Why you, as opposed to the other service provider down the street from you? You want to leverage social proof, and this is a big one. Showcase all of your online reviews prominently, and you can use tools like Bird Eye or Review Buzz. Those are plugins that can go right into your website, and you can use those to really bring those reviews front and center. Obviously, your Google business profile, those are already connected there, but this is a good way to put those things on your website as well. Next thing is get the basics in order. Have your phone number, ideally in the upper right-hand corner. Doesn't necessarily have to be in the upper right. It needs to be somewhere. One corner or the other is best, or big front and center works well too. Either way, you want that number there. You want to ensure that there is a web form that people can fill out, or there is a way to access that web form very quickly. We want to get as few clicks as possible if we're going to convert. The more somebody has to click, the more they're going to lose interest. So we want to make sure that we're doing that as well. And then we want to add those credibility symbols, things like the Better Business Bureau, if you're Angie's List, if you're a member of a chamber, any of those types of things are always helpful. Now, let me say this too on your form submissions. The more information you ask for, you're going to get fewer leads, but you'll get a higher quality of leads. So be aware of that. If you're going to ask for just an email address, you're going to get a lot of leads. If you ask for a name, email address, and phone number, that lead flow is going to slow down a little bit. If you add some screening questions, what kind of project are you interested in? What's your budget? What are some things that you've seen that you like? You're going to get fewer leads, but you're going to get a higher quality of leads. So one of the things you will have to decide is, are you looking for a better quality of lead overall? Or are you looking for more lead flow? And then you'll use your follow-up system to nurture the right kind of leads out of that list. And so both of those tactics work well. It's just which one is more beneficial for you and the way that you operate. Make sure you have clear calls to action on each page that are going to speak to your customer. And it's really important to remember, in online marketing, you almost have to take the mentality of a first grade teacher. Buy now, learn more, put a button there that tells the person what to do. Call now, submit your form, keep it simple, but direct the action. Tell your user, your viewer, what it is you want them to do. Make special offers, use coupons if they make sense for you, that match up to the type of service that a person is looking for. Now, I'm always of the mind not to give discounts, but to add value. Give a coupon that if you respond and mention this particular coupon, we're going to put a value add on top of what we're doing, or a perceived value add that you may already build in, but you're going to draw attention to it to make that customer feel more special. So much of this is the psychology of marketing, not just the semantics and the nuts and bolts of marketing. Make sure that your website is mobile optimized and that click-to-call function operates smoothly and easily. So make sure your phone number is a live link. Make sure that as soon as somebody hits it on a mobile device, it gives them the option to call you directly. This is critical because what we're finding is approximately 50 to 60% of traffic now is mobile search, which means people want to be able to click to call. They're used to that functionality. And so you're going to want that built into the site as well. You also want to leverage live chat. We're going to get into this here in a few moments, but sites that have some type of live chat function generally see about a 30 to 35% increase in their conversion rates, simply because they've got that ability to bring instant gratification. And people are used to using Messenger now as a form of communication within their business, within their transactions. They're also used to using text, and we'll get into that here in a few minutes as well. Give clients the ability to book online. Maybe you want to create an online calendar for yourself that your prospects can go into and book a consultation appointment with you. You've seen that in our own system as you signed up for this webinar. We use a calendar system and we use automation very heavily. That's something that you will want to deploy in your business as well, if it makes sense. Again, site speed matters. We're in a mobile environment. Google is regularly making algorithm updates. And if your site is slow, if it loads slow, if it doesn't load friendly for mobile first, Google will push your site down in the rankings. And then just what we talked about, engage SMS and phone marketing automation into your ecosystem, if that makes sense for you. And I'll cover what that looks like for you here in a moment as well. So here's the one element that will have the biggest impact on the results of your overall internet marketing efforts. And that is optimizing for conversion, but in today's world, it's optimizing for mobile conversion. So in the past, it used to be forms. Nowadays, what really matters is, can we get you on the line with that live prospect quickly and efficiently? And so we want to set up for that mobile optimization above and beyond anything else. Here's the other thing you need to keep in mind with mobile optimization. All of the voice search engines, Siri, Google Assistant, Alexa, are going to work off of the mobile search capabilities. And so if I am doing a voice search and I am asking for information, it's going to give me the option to place that call if I choose to, using voice activation. So this is becoming more critical. In the days ahead, we'll see a greater majority of search being mobile-based and voice engine-based Studies are just showing us continue upward momentum of that trend. So when we optimize for mobile conversion for that phone call, here's the critical element. That phone number has got to be prominent somewhere. Up here in the top left, top right, middle, down here in the middle. Doesn't matter where we have it, but we want it somewhere. We want it easy to get to. When it pulls up on a mobile device, this phone number ought to be the first thing that shows up there. It needs to be a live link. We see a lot of remodelers and contractors that they have the phone number on there, but it's not a live clickable link. If I click it, it's not going to immediately dial their office. And that's something that we need to make sure happens. The example I'm using here is Wichita Homeworks. They've been our longest term customer. And so we test a lot of ideas with them just because of the relationship. And so if you want to take a look at how theirs is set up, the link is there below. Now, here's the effect that that's going to have is we want to bring the conversion rate up for your website. And I don't know if you know what the current conversion rate of your website is, but it's pretty easy to figure. You're going to look at your total sessions and you're going to divide that by the number of leads you've generated. And by leads, we mean form submissions, phone calls, if you're using Messenger, whatever mode you're using to bring those leads in from the website. You'll simply divide that number of leads into the total number of sessions. And so in this case, by implementing the things we're talking about, the conversion rate is 35.43% on this particular website. So for every 100 visitors to the website, they're going to convert about 35 of those, meaning about 35 of those will become a lead either through a phone call, a form submission, a message, some type of modality. Here's another example. This particular website, 1,454 sessions, generated 495 total leads, 24 web forms. Their click-to-call ratio is 32.39% just off of that call button. So that call button is making a huge difference in their website conversion. So that's one of the things you're going to want to look at. How prominent, how well does it show up? Is it to where somebody can click on it and it's going to immediately go? Be sure and check your mobile view to make sure that it shows correctly in the mobile view. If not, you'll want to change that. Sometimes the mobile and desktop views are going to display a little differently. Next thing here, this is Robert's Overdoors. So we've got the phone number up here at the top, but they've got a call now button in the middle of the screen as well. Now, what's interesting is they also found that they wanted to add some payment buttons. So this is kind of a side note right here to the page, because they had a lot of their customers saying, we'd just like to pay you online. Can you set that up? And so this call button actually used to extend across the entire middle of the page. It was a can't miss, but they got to where they had enough requests for people to pay online that they added payment buttons onto the website as well. So just another example for you, but the thing we want to look at is there's two opportunities here to give them a call. So you can call from the top rail, you can call from the button, you can request a quote by form. You have all of those capabilities. In fact, let's go back here to Wichita Homeworks for a moment. Well, Wichita Homeworks is going to be the same way. You can submit forms, you can click to call. If you hit get an estimate, it's a form that you can go with there. We've added a new functionality since this screen, and I'll show you that one here in a minute, to take advantage of kind of the trend in messaging and SMS as a lead flow generator. Now, another example, when you set up your website to convert your visitors to callers, you can get some really amazing numbers if you're really dialed in on how your website is structured in the language of your website. So in this case, 1,073 sessions, 299 total leads. When you figured in their phone calls, their forms, and all of their lead flow, it was a 38% lead flow conversion rate off of their website just from their incoming traffic. And so again, we did our example using a 5% moving it up to a 15%. Well, what happens if we go 25, 30, 35% in conversion? You can see where those metrics simply expand out. So how do we get your website to convert like that? So let's talk about some of the things that you're going to want to add in to make it convert well. And here's the first place we have to start, though. You've got to be able to see through the eyes of your best customer, the eyes of your prospect. If you can see Joe Jones through Joe Jones's eyes, then you're going to see what Joe Jones buys. And so we want to get into the mind of Joe Jones, and we want to be able to look through Joe Jones' eyes, and we want to speak to Joe Jones in everything that we do. And so the way we do that is we create an avatar for ourselves. And I apologize, this screenshot's a little blurrier than I would like, but this is an avatar spectrum that you can create for yourself. Over here on the top left, it's what are their pains and frustrations. Top right is what are their goals and desires. Bottom left is what are their fears and implications. And bottom right is what are the dreams and aspirations of that individual. And so just to walk you through what that might look like is you want to take the time to really write out who is your ideal customer? What is their avatar? So demographically, and I'll just give you an example of an avatar for somebody that's looking for bathroom remodeling. They're a homeowner, typically 35 plus years of age. Typically it's female, occasionally a male. Oftentimes she's the one driving the design and the movement towards this bathroom remodel. He's going to be a part of the financial discussion. They're married with 2 to 3 kids. The 65,000 plus annual household income. She makes sure the household is running, so we would call her the head of the household. Very family oriented, very reliable, easily frustrated, likes to please people and expects the same in return. Not real handy, doesn't do a lot of projects at home themselves. They like gardening, crafts, and arts. Live in the suburbs, typically a middle to upper middle class neighborhood, take an interest in their community. Pains and frustrations. The bathroom gets tied up in the mornings. Certain can't entertain due to a lack of space, can't afford a new home purchase. They're too busy to deal with it. They're worried that the situation at the house could be more of a frustration and an aggravation to the family. Fears and implications. They don't want to be ripped off or overcharged. They've heard the horror stories. They don't want to pay too much for something they could have gotten elsewhere at a better price. They want to have, they're afraid of having their home damaged by faulty workmanship. They're afraid of having to wait around for the work crews to arrive at the home. They don't want to be inconvenienced trying to coordinate with their contractor. And they're afraid that the bill is going to be higher than the bid. And then their goals and desires. They want to increase the value of their home. They want more usable space. They want a beautiful home. They want to take care of their family. They want more income, money, and wealth. They'd like to live in a nicer, more luxurious house. They'd like to drive a nicer car. They want their kids to be happy, healthy, and successful. Spend more time with family, travel and have more fun, respect and approval of friends, family, relatives, and peace of mind. Now, we go through all of that to get a better understanding of who they are, how they operate, the things that they're going to be involved in, so we know better how to communicate to them. So our message matches up to the individual. And so the way that we create messaging that works is we start to dial into some of those fear points, some of those dream points, some of those concerns, and we answer those in our messaging. So for example, one of our things might be on-time project completion. That calms some of those fears. Straightforward pricing or upfront pricing or satisfaction guaranteed. Some way of reassuring that you're going to be happy with the work and we guarantee that you're going to love what we do. Third might be trustworthy technicians who are screened and vetted. Are they clean cut? Do they look nice? Do they not swear all over the place when they're on the job? Who's doing the work? And so these are messages that we need to convey through our website, things that we need to communicate, not just in word, But there's many ways to communicate these things. A testimonial or review might discuss the issues of on-time project completion and the straightforward, upfront, guaranteed pricing and satisfaction can all be done through testimonials, through reviews, through actual customer case studies and videos. Your trustworthy technicians who are screened and vetted, one of the greatest ways you can deal with that is simply have a picture of the team, who's going to be out doing the work so people know who it is they're going to be working with. And we'll get into that here a little more momentarily. And then you want to speak to your ideal customer. So here's a graphic that one of our customers is using, and it just speaks to the types of things that a person has in mind. Always ready, trusted technicians, personal and professional, full service solutions, community-minded, satisfaction guaranteed. So you can quickly use that graphic to speak those things. Here's what I was talking about being real and authentic. Who is your customer going to be working with? Put actual pictures, not stock photos of smiling people. Put pictures of your own team in there. And for you as the owner, if you're the face with the place, make sure yours is there so that people know who they're dealing with. So in this case, Wichita Homeworks has a picture of their team, and it actually goes down further than that. Every team member is on there, every technician, every project manager, every estimator, all the workmen are on there. So a person coming to their site absolutely knows who's going to be working with them. They can look at them and see that they're, clean cut, professional. It gives a level of trust, a level of comfort. In the case of Wichita Homeworks, they are more of a high-end home remodeler and custom home builder. So they've got to be able to give the impression of professionalism in what they do. And so this is one of the easiest ways to do it without saying anything, is just having real, authentic pictures of your team on the page. And then you want to leverage multimedia and video. One of the things that Wichita Homeworks does very well is they have a showcase. This is tied into their Photonic account. And so when you click on any of these pictures, what it does is it brings out a portfolio, and you can look through the entire project. And that's everything from 3D renderings of their initial drawings, all the way to project steps, all the way to completion. So it's a great way to showcase their work. They do a great job of this on their website, of leveraging it. They do a great job of putting video in their website as well, and into their social media, just simply because video converts very well. In fact, most studies say video converts about 3 to 1 compared to text, but especially for remodeling and home services, anytime you can show off your work, you can show before and after, you can show what the process looked like, you're going to give your prospect a greater deal of comfort, a greater deal of trust in working with you. You're going to prove why you are the go-to expert in your market for the services that you offer. And so be sure you're leveraging that video and multimedia. One of the things that Homeworks does great on their social media is the video piece. They don't do it as much on the website, but if you connect with them on their social media, they're always on video, and it's one of the big drivers for them. The greatest thing you can do if you want to implement that into your website is you can bring that in and frame it in as a video. Typically, you'll use a YouTube channel and just create a frame with a plugin that will show all of your video content. Pretty easy way to do that. Here's the next thing. Make sure it's mobile friendly. We talked about that already. You want that phone number to be here front and center on a mobile device, and you want your call to action to be here without anybody having to scroll whatsoever. So the way Wichita Homeworks has theirs set up, it's a click to call number at the top. You can click to all of their social media accounts, and you can click to the estimate form without ever leaving that landing page on the phone. So what comes up is going to be those things. Here's the reason why mobile friendly is so critical. 4.8 billion people on the planet now own mobile phones. 3 out of 5 consumers search for local businesses on their smartphone. And Google reports that 40% of mobile consumers turn to a competitor site after a bad mobile web experience. And so we want to make sure that everybody has a great mobile web experience. If you're like me, I do my initial research on my phone, and then I do my heavy lifting on my laptop or my desktop later. But my phone is always where things start. Now, second piece of this is this click to call. As soon as it gets clicked, it needs to bring up a live call button. And that's what we have here. If you come up, you click this top button, immediately it's going to bring up the phone number and ask you if you want to call or cancel. That's how quickly we want people to be able to interact with you, to get that lead generated, to get that lead started so that they are in your funnel and you can begin the process of turning them from a lead into a customer. And here's the other one that we've just added. I told you we've made a change to their site recently. We began to look at studies that show that live chat is proven to increase leads by an average of 35%. One of the things we were seeing with our work with Wichita Homeworks is the high number of leads and project requests that were coming through the messenger system on Google Business Profile and Facebook. And because of that, we felt like it was important to get that functionality onto their website. So the way we've got this set up is when you click their floating button, it's going to give you a choice. It will give you a choice of going to Facebook Messenger, or it will give you a choice of sending a text. And you can do either one to communicate with them straight from their website. Good piece to have, especially on the mobile device. It's going to make for, again, another modality that somebody can contact you through. Some people don't want to talk on the phone, but they would be happy to text or send a message. And so we want to meet people where they're at in the way they like to do business. So if they like to do business by text, then we want to initiate that conversation on text. If they want to do business by messenger, then we want to operate that same way. If they want to do it by email, we want to do the same thing. So we want to match the modality of our avatar or give them a lot of options based on who they might be, and they can choose the one that is most appropriate for them. And so you've got the messenger button, you've got the SMS button. This can also be configured to send an email if we so wanted. We don't do that because what we're trying to do is get them to go through the form so that they go into an email auto response system. But you could always have a direct email come to you as well. So there's a couple of ways to structure that. I'm always a firm believer that the money is in the list. Let's keep building the marketing list. Let's continue to bring content to the marketing list and nurture that list so that they do business. I'm not a fan of necessarily one-off emails just because there's no real strong follow-up to that. But again, it's all based on how you choose to operate your own business. So here's the key ideas that we've covered so far today. Number one, add real authentic images of your team to the homepage and throughout your website. Add video elements to your website. That could be a welcome video, videos for each service, videos explaining why someone should contact you versus your competition. Showcase your online reviews more prominently on the homepage with tools like Bird Eye or Review Buzz. Get your basics in order: phone number, right-hand corner, left-hand corner, middle of the page. Right-hand is the current recommendation based on heat maps, but really any of those three places will work very well. Ensure that there's a web form that your customers can fill out. Ideally, you want that to go into some type of auto response system to where there is an email follow-up series that comes behind it. You also want to add those credibility symbols. Better Business Bureau, local associations, Angie's, etc. Update your calls to action so that those speak directly to your customer avatar, telling them what to do next. Get an estimate, call now, book an appointment. Those are all good calls to action. Leverage coupons or offers that are going to match the page that someone is on. Add live chat to your website, and then offer the clients the option to book online with you, if that makes sense. Now, let's take this one step further is your website optimized for conversion? And we talked about this momentarily. And that is that we want to make sure that you've got multiple modalities that your prospect can engage with you. And so the first thing that I want you to do here real quick is just write down 3 implementations that you're going to try and put into your website in the next 30 days. So as we've gone through those current optimization steps, what are the top 3 that make sense for you to implement in the next 30 days? And once you've got those written down, we're going to move on to one more big topic, and that's kind of the way we're seeing conversions optimized on the backside now. Once you've captured that lead, what increases your ability to make that sale? There's a couple of little tweaks you can make that will greatly improve those numbers too. So we've been talking about the front end conversion. How do we get more leads, phone calls from a visitor to our website? Now we're going to talk about the back end conversion. Once we've got that visitor information captured, what's the step that we may want to take to increase the profitability and the effectiveness of those leads in the way they're handled? So hopefully you've got your 3 action items. And let's talk about this big issue. The biggest issue facing home remodeling and residential marketing, or residential construction companies, is unconverted leads. And that means leads that you collect, but never turn into customers. And here's the real problem with forms. What studies tell us is 50 to 60% of inbound traffic to a website leaves unconverted. And so there's a statistic on your Google Analytics called page bounce. And what page bounce is, that bounce rate is how many people show up to your website and don't go to any other pages and then bounce off. So about 50 to 60% leave unconverted. They don't fill out a form, they don't place a phone call, they move on. Here's the next piece of this though, 90% of web forms fail to convert. So somebody fills out a form for you, it doesn't convert either. And here's the real issue why. And that's because leads that are not followed up with in the first 15 minutes go cold. Today, everybody is in an instant gratification mode. I want to be able to talk to somebody quickly. I want to be able to meet with you quickly. I want to get a response to my question quickly. And so the average customer needs to be followed up with 5 to 7 times once they become your lead before they will actually book an appointment with you. So what we've got to do is get those 5 to 7 contacts in as quickly as possible. And here's what's interesting. Today's consumer actually prefers to interact via a text message over a phone call or an email. SMS is actually proving to be the more effective means of following up with leads in today's marketplace. And so the solution is that you leverage marketing automation to follow up with web forms within the first 2 minutes of submission via phone, email, and text message. And the way you do that is you set up an automation so that the follow-up begins automatically. And that prospect is then touched 5+ times in a short period of time to get them engaged with you. And 2-way text messaging is one of the greatest ways to do that, because you'll immediately see if they're going to respond to what it is that you're sending to them. And so here's a little math for you on this. And same thing, side by side, if we get 100 leads and our conversion rate is 30% with no follow-up, then we're going to book 30 jobs. And again, we'll use some small numbers just for ease. Average ticket price, $650. We're going to make $19,500 off of that. Now, if we have the same amount of leads, we're not spending any more on advertising. We get our back-end conversion rate up to where we're now converting at 70% using an automated follow-up. Well, now we've increased our jobs to 70 jobs booked, If we have our same $650 of average ticket cost, that means we've now come to a $45,500 revenue stream. So we've increased our revenue more than 2 times simply by improving that back-end conversion rate, but using automation to do that. And so what we want to do is we want to make every lead that we generate more valuable. And so the way we do that is we get better at our conversions. We get better at bringing the right services together to match up to our avatar. And we get this dialed in to where our ecosystem works very efficiently, bringing us the right kind of people, the right kind of projects at the right price points. And we get to where we know we can convert at higher levels so that we're booking more jobs. So let's get all these things implemented into your business. Number one, is your website optimized for conversion? Does it speak to your target avatar? Does it meet them? Does it hit their fears, their frustrations, their dreams, their goals, their aspirations? Be real. Use authentic images of your work, of your team. Use video and multimedia to engage your audience at a deeper level to really make that emotional connection. Remember this, that people buy first based on emotion, and then they back it up with logic. So if you can make the emotional connection with your marketing, if you can stir the imagination, it's much easier to make that sale. Leverage your social proof with tools like Bird Eye or Review Buzz. Get those reviews out there working for you. Get your basics in order. Phone number on the website prominently. Ensure that there's a web form people can fill out. Your credibility banners on there. Ensure your calls to action are clear. Use special offers and coupons when they make sense. Make sure that your website is very mobile optimized and has an easy click to call function. Use live chat. Give your clients the option to book online. Site speed matters. And again, engage with SMS and phone using marketing automation. It will just simply increase your overall conversion. So again, take a look at your 3 action items, see if there's any others that you want to add. Because that's the main thing is all this information is only as good as what you take away and implement. So we want you to take action now. And if you'd like some help, so these are all things you can do, but our team can do that for you as well. If you'd like some help, we'd love for you to schedule a strategy session with us. You can call the number below to do that, or you can go to remodelingmarketingteam.com/schedule. In this marketing plan review strategy session, we'll look at your online visibility as it stands right now, both for your website and your Google business profile. We'll put together a custom keyword list of the most valuable search terms for your area. We'll show you a ranking report where you rank currently, not just on the organic search, but also on local search. If you're working in a local service area, we'll look at your online directory listings. Are they consistent? Are there issues there? We'll look at your reviews and reputation. We'll take a look at your social media. Is your brand consistent? Are there some tweaks that need to be made there? And then obviously we'll look at your website conversion effectiveness. Are there some things that you could do better and improve upon? And so we certainly invite you to schedule one of those with us as well. And again, where are you at on your ecosystem? What pieces do you have in place? Anything on the right side of the chart is what we consider to be the most effective from the digital marketing strategy standpoint. These are the things that are going to move the needle the most in your digital marketing. These other things over here will also move the needle, but maybe not as quickly, not as effectively, not as long-term. They're going to be a little more up and down based on how well you do certain things. And so be sure and just, grab hold of that idea and see where you can improve there as well. And then again, we invite you to do a free marketing review with us at some point if that would be beneficial to you. Now, a couple things. We do these webinars about once every 6 weeks. We launched our first one in mid-December. It was a 2023 marketing plan strategy webinar. Even have some spreadsheets you can fill in and see where you need to be on lead flow to hit your target numbers. So you can grab that webinar on our YouTube channel if you'd like to watch it as well. And we'll have another webinar coming up here in about 6 weeks. So with that being said, any questions that I can answer for you?